Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the solution video for CAT 2024 Slot 2 QA. Let's look at the questions. Sort it out. Okay, great. We'll go through all the questions one by one. I'll try to present as many solutions as we can, or as many different ways of doing the question as we can, without getting into maybe the lengthier solutions. Let's start with this question. The question says ABCD is a trapezium in which AB is parallel to CD. These sides, when extended, intersect at point E. So the diagram is simple. AB is 2. The trapezium is ABCD, and CD is 1. So let's say it's here, half. And if I extend AD and BC, this is C, this is D. If I extend D, AD, and BC, these guys meet at E, point E. The perimeter, this is 1. The perimeter of ABCD is 6 centimeter. Fair. So if this is 2, this is 1. The net distance BC and AD is 3. And because the question doesn't say anything, you can even assume them to be equal, right? 6 में से 3, this is 3 out of 6. I can easily take them to be 1.5 each. Nothing stops me from assuming that. You don't want to do it, or if this didn't occur to you in the exam, it's okay. You could take in one as x, the other is 3 minus x. Net sum 3 होना चाहिए. AD plus BC का net sum 3 होना चाहिए. That's the only way you'll get a perimeter of 6. And the question asks you, what is the perimeter of AEB? If you look at these two triangles, right, EDC and EAB, these triangles are similar. Yeah, because whenever you have a parallel line, CD and AB are parallel, or DC and AB are parallel. So this will be they'll be similar. In fact, they're not just similar. If you look at the ratio of proportionality, that will be 1:2. CD is parallel to AB and half of AB. CD is 1, AB is 2. So D and C have to be midpoints using midpoint theorem, right? I can use midpoint theorem and say that C and D are midpoints. And therefore, if AD I've marked as 3 minus x, so will DE be. And if BC I marked it as x, so will CE be. See the midpoint. So net perimeter will basically be 2 plus 3 minus x plus 3 minus x. That's 6 minus 2x. That's 2 plus 6 minus 2x. Plus x plus 2x. So net perimeter will come out to be 8. That's it. That's the answer to this question. Great. Let's move on to the next question. The next question says that Amal and Vimal together can complete a task in 150 days. Vimal and Sunil can complete it in 100 days. Fair. Amal starts working on the task and works for a certain amount of time. Then Vimal takes over. Then Sunil takes over, and so on. If Amal had started the task alone and worked on all days, Vimal every second day, every alternate day, and Sunil had worked on every third day, and the number of days required to complete the task would have been which are the following. Now, can we make equations here? We can. Can we make assumptions? Can we take assumptions here? Because our starting value, given is 150 and 100 days for the whole task, I don't think it's a bad idea to just take work done to be 300. So let's start by taking work done to be 300. And that gives us the work rate of Amal and Vimal as 300 by 150, work done by time, 2 units per day. And therefore, of Vimal and Sunil as 300 by 100, 3 units a day. And from here, you can eliminate V and find out that S minus A comes out to be 1 unit, or S is 1 plus A, something like that. If I subtract from the second equation the first equation, I'll get S minus A is equal to 1. Fair enough. And then let's use that bit of information um, in how they actually work. Amal starts works for 75 days. Vimal works for 135 days. Sunil works for 45. Since we don't know their individual work, we are B plus S. So A plus V. So if I take out 75 days of work from here, 75, I can write 135V as 75V plus something else, and this is 75A. Now this combined is going to be equal to 75 times A plus V. This is 150 units of work. Has to be half. Yeah. Next, I want to combine V and S also. Now S is work for 45 days, so I'll break this 135 into 45 more, 45 into V, and then combine it with 45 into S. So this gives me 3, which is 135. And now what are we left with? Out of 135, 75 and 45 is 120. So another 15 days. The remaining work is done by V in 15 days. How much work is done? 300 minus 150 minus 135 is just 15 units. This 15 units of work is left that we'll do in 15 days. So the work rate of V comes out to be 1. So if you solve this, you'll get V as 1. And the moment you get V as 1, you'll get S as 2 and A also as 1. So we have work rates, which is extremely useful, and that will help us solve the question. So Amal has started the task alone, works on all days. Great. So Amal will work every day. On the second day, Amal is joined by Vimal. And then on the third day, Sunil comes in. Right? It's Amal and Sunil. Now the thing here is, because Vimal is working every second day, so second, fourth, sixth, and Sunil is working on third and sixth. Amal is obviously working on all the days. This will run in a cycle of 6 days. Right? So Vimal comes in here. Fourth day also Vimal comes in. Fifth day it is just Amal working alone. Sixth day it is all the three. All three working. Start. Then again it'll be A plus B, and so on and so forth. So you can consider this in terms of cycles of 6 days of work, and you can check how much work has been done. Obviously, on all 6 days, A is working, so that's 6 units of work done by A. S has worked out of these 6 days for 2 days, so that's 4 units of work. V has worked for 3 out of the 6 days, so that's 3 units of work. So every 6 days, 13 units will be done. Oops. And if I want to do a total of 300 units, 300 units would basically mean 13 into 20 is 260, 260, and then another 39. So 23 cycles of 6 days each. If I run 23 cycles of 6 days each cycle is 6 days, I will end up doing how much work in these 6 days? 13 units. So 13 into 23. 13 into 23 is 299. I'm sorry, 299. Yeah, this comes out to be 299. And how many days is this? 26 is 120 and 18. This is 138 days. In 138 days, 299 units would have been done, and then done. And cycle will restart, and who will come in? A will come in. A will come in, finish that 1 unit of work, and thus finish 300 units in total. And the number of days taken will be 138 plus 1. 139 is your answer. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. So what we did here was work done, assume the work done, find out some information about work rates, use that in the information provided. That will help you find out the work rate of V. And once you found out the work rate of V, you basically have all the work rates, and then you just follow the question to its logical conclusion. Next question says, when Rajesh's age was the same as the present age of Garima, the ratio of their ages was 3:2. When Rajesh's age was the same as the present age of Garima. Okay. So, the age of Rajesh today is the same as the present age of Garima. So when Rajesh is, because 3:2 means 3x and 2x, right? So this must have been some years ago because Garima today is 3 years old. This happened some time ago. So let me write minus means in the past. Today, what is the case? Garima is 3x years old, the same age as what we are considering Rajesh to be when the ratio is 3:2. Right? So today Garima is 3x, which basically means this is x years later, right? If I start from the past as the reference and I reach or talk about today, how many years later is today? Garima's age has changed from 2x to 3x. So this has happened x years later, which means R will also be older by x years. So today, their ages are 4x and 3x. When Garima's age becomes the same as the present age of Rajesh. So when in future Garima becomes the same as Rajesh's age when Garima becomes 4x. So that means we're talking about another x years in future. Rajesh will obviously also be x years older, so Rajesh will be 5x. Then the ratio of ages of Rajesh and Garima, ratio of ages will be 5x is to 4x, 5 is to 4. End of story. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. Straightforward question. Question number, I don't remember the question number, but yeah, let's look at what this question says. It says 1 upon x plus 5 is less than equal to 1 upon 2x minus 3. Guys, if you have options in these questions, there is no point taking this to the left hand side, making this a quadratic equation or whatever. I think the best way to solve most of these questions, almost all of the questions, is use options. Right? We have options here that say x lies between minus 5 and you assume values to check, if the inequation is working. But you do that first by looking at the options. So option 1 says x between minus 5 and 3/2. Option 2 also says minus 5 by 3/2. The other one says x less than minus 5. The other one says, again, x less than minus 5. Look, here, neither here nor here do we have x equal to 0. We just don't have x equal to 0, right? We do have x equal to 0 here. So the fastest thing to do is just put x equal to 0, check if the inequation works. Does it work? No, it doesn't, because left-hand side is 1 by 5, which is basically 0.2 in value, which should be less than equal to 1 upon, right, 2x is 0, so 1 upon minus 3 or minus 1 by 3. How can a positive quantity be less than a negative quantity? So the inequation doesn't work at x equal to 0, which means all the options that have x equal to 0 are wrong. Option 1 and option 2 are wrong. And then it's about option 3 and option 4. Option 3 says x is greater than 3/2, which basically means right up to infinity. And option 4 says that 3/2 up to 8. So it sets a limit. Just check one, right? You don't want to try between 3/2 and 8 because 3/2 is also included here. But let's say a value like 10 is not included. Just put x equal to 10. Check, does the equation work? Left hand side is 1 upon 15. Right hand side is 1 upon 10. 1 upon 20 minus 3, 1 upon 17. How can 1 by 15 be less than 1 by 17? Right? Denominator, when the denominator is smaller, the value overall is bigger. So left hand side is greater than right hand side. And therefore, x equal to 10 also does not work. So option 3 does not work because this includes x equal to 10. Option 4 doesn't. It must be the right answer. Great. Let's move on to the next question. The question says, bus starts at 9 a.m. and follows a fixed route every day. Great. Good to know. Speed is not given. Unfortunate. One day travel at a constant speed of 60 km per hour and reach destination 3.5 hours later than scheduled time. So there is a scheduled arrival time. So because there is a scheduled arrival time, let's say that the time taken is t hours. So what's happened today is the speed is 60 and the time taken is 3.5 hours more. So I can say the distance, this distance, let's say between A and B, would be 60 into t plus 3.5. Speed into time is the distance. Next day, it has traveled 2/3 of its route in 1/3 of its scheduled time. Good to know. So 2/3 of the route, right? Let's say this distance is d. This is just for the timing. So 2/3 of d has been covered in 1/3 of the time, so in t by 3. And the remaining portion has been covered at 40 km per hour to just reach on time. If I have a total of t hours available, I've used up t by 3 hours. I have another 2t by 3 hours, which is what I'll use at 40 km per hour to reach on time. Yeah. So can we say that this was 2 by 3d, the remaining distance, this will be d by 3. D by 3 ought to be, and what is d? D is this. D is this, right? D is 60 into t plus 3.5. This is the distance. D by 3, this is the distance. D by 3 will be equal to 40 kilometer per hour into 2t by 3. 40 into 2t by 3. Just solve this. Just solve this. It's quite easy. 60t, and you have 80t on the right hand side, and you have 60 into 3.5, which is what, 210. 210. So 20t will come out to be 210, and t will come out to be 10.5. So the normal time taken is 10.5 hours. So if the bus starts every day at 9 a.m., 10 and a half hours later, 10 hours is 7, 10.5 means it will reach its destination usually by 7:30 p.m. That's your answer. I hope this is clear. Let's move on. Question number 6 says, a vessel contained a certain amount of solution of acid and water. When 2 liters of water is added to it, the new solution becomes 50% acid concentration. Nice. So, the question is telling you that initially acid water is 2 liters less. So if water initially was X, acid would be X plus 2. Right? Let's say these are the initial volumes. Because after I've added 2 liters of water, my net volume of acid and water has to become equal. That is what a 50% acid concentration means, right? 50% means 50% is acid and 50% is water. The quantities of water and acid are equal. So that we can start from here, and then we can say that initially acid must have been 2 liters more. Lovely. Water 2 liters less. And then the question goes on to say, when 15 liters of acid is further added to the solution, the final solution has 80% acid concentration. So 15 more liters added, that basically means, and 15 liters of acid added, net acid will end up being X plus 17, and water of course doesn't change, X plus 2. So that's 80%. This forms 80% of the solution. This forms 20% of the solution. We can solve from here, right? We can solve from here. Of course, we have total volume we have. We could also have solved using options. We'll come to that later. Total volume initially was 2x plus 2. And of course, now at present, after all the additions, the total volume is 2x plus 19. So if you want to solve this using equation, you can just say x plus 2, the amount of water, is 20% of the total volume, 1/5 of 2x plus 19. That will immediately give you the value of x, right? So if you solve this till 5x plus 10 is 2x plus 19. 5 minus 2x is 3x, which is 9x is 3. So initially acid was 3 plus 2, 5 liters, and water was x, 3 liters. So the ratio of water is to acid is 3 is to 5, option 3. I hope this is clear. Now, you should be immediately able to realize, right, that option 1 and option 2 can't be the answer. In the original solution, water was less. Water is less, right? Which is why when you add water, it gives you 50% solution. After adding water, it's 50%, which means water initially is less. So water is to acid can never be 5 to 4 or 5 to 3. There's no way that's the answer. So the answer is either 3 or option 4. You could have started from here. Create a difference of 2 liters. The difference between water and acid is 2. So 3 is to 5 means already the difference is already 2 between 3 parts and 5 parts. But if it were to be, if the ratio were to be 4 is to 5, you multiply, because the difference here is 1 between 4 and 5, 4 parts, 5 parts, difference 1. 2 karna hai, multiply this by 2. So if I wanted to check this option, I would have checked with 8 and 10 liters. Because that maintains the ratio 4 is to 5 and also creates a difference of 2. So that's also one way you could have solved the question, or you can just make the equation as you did. Next. Oops. ABC are positive real numbers, log question. A is greater than 10, strictly greater than 10. B and C can be equal, both less than equal to 10. Fair. I hope you know what to do with this, right? I hope you know this basic rule that log of x to base y upon log of um, z to base y. This is log of x to base z, right? It also works the other way around. Why would we need this? We have 8 here and 2 here. If I change this to 2 cube, right? If I change this to 2 cube, again we ought to know that log to the base 2 cube of a plus b, this can easily be written as the power of the base comes out in the denominator. 2 to the power 3, 3 will appear in the denominator, right? And then you're left with log of a plus b to the base 2. And of course, if I have, I'll keep 1 by 3 aside, log of c to the base 2 using this rule, what do I end up with? Log of a plus b to base c and the 1 by 3 separately. And the exact same way, if we do the exact same thing to the other expression, we'll have this is also 3 cube, it will come out as 1 by 3. And then you'll have 3 and 3, so that goes away. You are left with a minus b to base c. And of course, 1 by 3 taken common, log of x plus log of y is log of x into y. So this is 1 by 3 log of a square minus b square to base c. That is what our left hand side is, and our right hand side is 2 by 3. So 3 goes away, it cancels out. And using basics of log, c square now, right? C square is equal to a square minus b square. So basically, e square is equal to b square plus c square. We'll get c square here. A square minus b square is equal to c square. You take b square to the other side. You're left with this Pythagoras theorem kind of looking relation. And since we want the greatest possible integer value of a, b, and c are not integers. It just says a, b, c are positive real numbers. Right? You want to maximize a, what will you try to do? You'll try to maximize b and c as far as possible. So b and c maximum value is 10 when all of them are equal. So 10 square, 100, 10 square, 100, a square, 200. But the problem with that is 200 is not a whole square. Right? A square equal to 200 means a is 14 point something. That's okay. That's okay. Because if I now want to maximize a, if I take, let's say, b as 10, and let's say c as root 96. C need not be an integer, can be a real number, irrational number. So b square will be 100, c square will be 96, a square will be 196, and the highest possible value of a then will be 14. 14 point something doesn't take us to 15, but a can be 14. That's the greatest integer value of a. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. It says m and n are natural numbers since n is greater than 1. M to the power n is a natural number. M to the power n is 2 to the power 25 and 3 to the power 40. Now, this is something very interesting here, right? Surely n has to be a common factor of 25 and 40. Now, 25 is 5 square. Prime factorizing, 40 is 2 cube, 8 into 5. The common factors, if I list down all the common factors between these two numbers, the only prime factor common is 5. There's no other prime factor. And of course, you have ones, right? So common factors of these two numbers is a small set, which is 1 or 5. So if I want a natural number power here, this power n has to be either 1 or 5, but n is greater than it can't be 1. And thus, n has to be 5, naturally. N would have to be 5. And therefore, the question is telling you that m to the power 5 is 2 to the power 25 into 3 to the power 40. Let's take 5 power common. So that's 2 to the power 5 into 3 to the power 8 whole to the power 5. And this, of course, cancels out. So m is 2 to the power 5 into 3 to the power 8. And then m minus n basically means whatever value of m comes in minus 5. Now, what is the value of m? What I did here was that I looked at the unit digits, and I checked, what is giving me as unit digit. 2 to the power 5 is 32, right? Ends in 2. 3 to the power 8. 3 to the power 8 would end in 1. So this M unit digit is 2. Unit digit is 2. So 2, a number ending with 2 minus a number ending with 5 ends in 7. Great. That means option 1 and option 4 are not the answers. Unfortunately, we have 2 options in 7. So we don't have any other option. We'll have to find the value. We'll have to find the exact value of M. And that needs a little bit of work, but not a lot, right? 2 to the power 5, 32. 3 to the power 8 is 81 into 81. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cheat. I have a calculator. Calculator on. 32 into 3 to the power 4 is 81, right? So it's 81 square also I can multiply into 81 into 81 gives me 209,952. So the value of M which is needed here is 209,952 minus 5 obviously gives me M minus N gives me 209. Option 3 is our right answer. I hope you understood this question. Decent question. Let's move on to the next question. The next one says a company has 40 employees whose names are listed in a certain order. And then, the average bonus of the first 30 employees was so much. The last 30 employees is so much. First 10 and last 10 together is so much. Fair. So because it's, first 10, last 10, and 20 in the middle, it seems, I'm going to break this down very similar to another CAT question based on average, probably from 2022 or 2021. So, you had to break down the whole group into something like what we are doing. It had the first 10, last 10, and some people in the middle. So the first 10, the middle 20, and the last 10. Now the average bonus of the first 30 employees is, and we're starting from left to right. So the average bonus of the first 30 employees is 40,000. So it means, this total sum will be 30 into 40K. That's 120K. I'm not going to write the thousands. I'll just write K. This total sum is 120K. Great. For the last 30, it's 60,000. So last 30 is 60,000 into 30, 180K. Great. Does that help me find the values in the middle? Yes, because I also know first and last 10. First 10 and last 10 together, average is 50,000. 50,000 into 20 is 100,000. Right? 50K into 20, right? No, it's 1,000. Okay, I think we missed a zero. 40K into 30 is 1,200K. I'm sorry, 1,200,000. This is 1,800,000. This is 1,000,000. So that gives us the value in the middle, right? Because if I subtract, if I subtract, I'll actually get the exact values. 1,800,000 minus 1,200,000, right? What do I get? I'm getting the difference between the last 10 and the first 10, right? So 1,800,000 was last 10 plus the middle 20. 1,200,000 was first 10 plus middle 20. So middle 20 cancel out. This 600,000 is the difference between last 10 and first 10. But we also know that the sum of the last 10 and the first 10, oops, the sum of the last and the first 10 is here, 1,000,000. So you solve this and you'll immediately get the sum of the first 10. Last 10 comes out to be 800,000. And first will come out to be 200,000. And that makes life easy. We also get the middle 20. I'm not sure if we need it because 1,200 minus 200 is 1,000,000. The question goes on to say that Next year, the average bonus of the first 10 employees increases by 100%. 100% means doubles. So if this doubles, first 10 becomes 400,000. The last 10 of the last 10 employees increases by 200%. That's thrice. So 800 has become thrice, right? 2400,000. The total average also means total because we're talking about the same number of employees. And the remaining employees, these ones in the middle, it remains 1,000. Total sum. So for these 40 employees, what is the new average? So the new sum, this is the new sum, is this. What is this? 14 plus 24, 38,000. 3,800,000. And of course, we're talking about the number of employees at the new average. That's 40. So once you, I hope this is clear. Let's move to the next question. The next question says, the coordinates of three vertices of a triangle are so and so. What is the radius of the inner circle of the triangle? It's always prudent to plot this. Doesn't take a minute. Now 1, 2, x is 1, y is 2, 1, 2 is here. Let's say I would recommend make this to scale as far as possible. 7, 2. Good thing, right? Y coordinate is the same. So 7, 2. If this is 1, then 7 ought to be here somewhere. I hope we don't push this off the scale. And 1, 10, x coordinate is the same. So here goes somewhere like this. Surely a right angle triangle, right? Because the x coordinate is the same here, and the y coordinate is then the same here. So this has to be 90 degrees. So we have to find the radius of this right triangle. See, there's a formula, if you know it, it's great, helps tons. So this is the perpendicular, is the base. This is your hypotenuse. The in radius is given by the sum of the two perpendicular sides, which means perpendicular plus base, minus hypotenuse upon 2. That's obviously one way to calculate in radius. The other way to calculate in radius is area of the triangle upon semi-perimeter. Semi-perimeter is half of the perimeter. You could have done either. You could have done either this or this. So yeah, I mean, if we can calculate the lengths here, which shouldn't be difficult at all. This is 1, 2. This is 7, 2. So the length is 6 here. This is 1, 2, 1. Difference in y coordinate is the length is 8. 6, 8 of course means 10 is the hypotenuse. You can use this if you want, or calculate area, depends. So straightforward. Just put this here. 6 plus 8, 14 minus 10, 4 by 2. In radius will come out to be 2 units. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. The next question says x and y are real numbers such that this again, if you've done your previous year questions, you would have learned that in such a question, one of the things you must do is, and if you don't have options, you should be completing the perfect square. Complete the perfect square and use your brains to sort of manage the coefficients. You have 4x square. What is 4x square? Now, and you do have something in x and y. So 4x square means 2x whole square, right? You have 2x whole square, and then you have a minus 4xy, and then you have lots of 4y squares. So it's very likely that this is going to work because you don't have an x only, right? You don't have a term that ends in only x with some coefficient. So that does mean your perfect square is going to be something in x plus something in y whole square, right? So 2x whole square we have. If this term were to be the 2ab one minus 2 into 2x, because we have a 2x whole square, minus 2 into a into b should be y then, right? This is minus 4xy. So I want to add a y square here to complete the perfect square. I hope this is clear. This is 2x whole square. This is minus 2 into 2x into y. And therefore, I want to add a y square to make this into a 2x minus y whole square. Super. What am I left with? I have used y square out of 4y square. I want to use, I'm left with 3y square. I'm then left with the minus 6y and a 3. Does this give me a whole square? It does, because if I take 3 common, I'm left with 3 times y square minus 2y plus 1, which is basically y minus yeah, y minus 1 whole square, no? You get a 3y square minus 6y, 3 taken common minus 2y. Yeah, this is exactly, this is y minus 1 whole square. So great. Now, if the sum of two perfect squares is 0, that is only going to happen if this is 0 and this is 0. And therefore, y must be equal to 1. And if y is 1, 2x minus 1 must be 0, so x must be 1 by 2. And therefore, you plug in these values. 4 into 1 by 2 is 2, and 5 into 1 is 5, so 2 plus 5 is your answer, 7. I hope this is clear. Question 12 says, a function f maps the set of natural numbers to whole numbers such that f of x y is equal to fx into fy plus something, something, something. And f of p is 1 for every prime number. Great. F of p is 1 for every prime number, right? So, and because if it's f of x into y, some expansion of that, we'll basically have to break down this number into x and y, x into y, x into y, time and again, into prime numbers. So, just to do it once, this is 1,60,000. That's 40, right? Yeah, 1,60,000. Now, let's just prime factorize this once. This is 10 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 4 into 5 to the power 4, and you have a 2 to the power 4 here as well. 16 is 2 to the power 4. You get a 2 to the power 4 from here, 2 to the power 8. And of course, you get a 5 to the power 4 from this. Right? I'm basically doing this 16 into 10 to the power 4. So 2 to the power 4 and 2 to the power 4 combined to 2 to the power 8, and then 5 to the power 4 extra is left. This is the prime factorization of the number in question, 1,60,000. Now, just to do it once for one prime number. If I take out one prime number, so that would mean this is f of 2 into 80k. What is f of 2 into 80k? F of 2 into 80k is going to be f of 2 into f of 80k, 80,000, plus f of 2 plus f of 80k. Super. Now look, f of 2 is never going to matter. It's 1. In a product, it's not going to matter. It's 1. So this is f of 80k plus f of 80k plus f of 2. This is twice f of 80k plus 1. Good. So when we took out one prime number in one power, one single power, because that's all we can do, because of the value given, f of a prime number, f of 2, f of 5, that's going to be 1. We get this here. We've taken out one power and gone from 1,60,000 or 160,000 to 80,000. Now, what do we need? We need to understand what f of 60,000 is going to be. So this is going to be twice of f of 80,000. I'll focus on here. This one. F of 80,000 is basically 2 into 40,000. So 2 into 40,000 is going to be f of 2 into f of 40,000. I'm going to write this again once full, but I hope you catch the pattern here. Otherwise, you'll keep writing till eternity, essentially. This is f of 2 into f of 40,000 plus f of 2 plus f of 40,000. So, and of course, you had a plus 1 here. Now, f of 2 is 1. Ignore. This is 1. F of 40 plus f of 40. That's twice f of 40. 2 into twice f of 40 makes it 2 square f of 40k plus 2 into 1 is 2 plus 1, 3. Right? Having removed two prime numbers and reduced our 160k to 40k, we have a 2 square, and this is a 2 square minus 1. Right? If you again break this down into 2 into 20,000, you can try it. You will end up getting 2 cube f of 20,000 plus 2 cube minus 1 plus 7. 8 f of 20k plus 7. This is what you'll end up with. So what is happening every time we take out a prime number, right? 160 to 80, 80 to 40, 40 to 20. For every single time we break it down once, we get a power of 2, extra power of 2. We have taken three powers of 2, one here, and once more here. We have a 2 cube, and here we had a 2 to the power 3 minus 1. Now, how many total powers of prime numbers do we have? 12. Right? So if we had 12, having done this process 10 times, if we do this process, I don't know, this is an internet problem. If we do this process 10 times, what are we likely to end up with? Right? Let's say 10 times means, you have you've basically taken out 2 to the power 7, one by one, and then 5 to the power 3, something like that. You factored it for factored everything, and now you're just left with 1 power 2, 1 power 5, which is 10. You're left with the number 10. So having done this 10 times, you will get 2 to the power 10 into f of 2 into 5, f of 10, plus 2 to the power 10 minus 1. This is what you'll get. That is what the pattern should tell you. Otherwise, you'll have to do this. You'll have to just do this till the end, and that's obviously it'll take a lot of time. Even if you're not doing this in the exam, right? You'll still end up. Spending a lot of time. And now, of course, is again, if you take it out one more time, you'll just end up, getting another power of 2. So 2 to the power 10 into what is f10? F of 10 is f of 2 into 5, which is f of 2 into f of 5. F of 2 into f of 5 is 1, because both are 1, plus f of 2 plus f of 5. Yeah. So that's basically 1 and 1, 3. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. So that's 3. F of 10 is 3. And then you have 2 to the power 10 minus 1. So this can, because 3 into 2 to the power 10 plus 1 into 2 to the power 10, makes it 4 into 2 to the power 10. And then you have a minus 1. So, this is 1024 into 4, 4096. 4096 minus 1 is 4095. That's your answer. I hope this is clear. You want to do it full, please check. You can try, or you can also just run one more step, right? We've done till the 3 steps. Check the 4th step. You'll see that the pattern works. The next question says there are 3 circles of equal radii that touch each other. All 3 radii touch each other, but they don't cross each other externally. Fair enough. Okay. There are 2 other circles such that they touch both. Now that's only going to be possible. I'll have to make a nice clean diagram. Equal radii, 1 circle, equal another, and equal a 3rd, right? Now my 2 circles are going to be 1 here and 1 outside. Should probably have used another color. It's okay. I'll use a different color now. Here, yeah. So if you've done any such question, when you join 3 radii and they're touching each other, this side becomes 2r, right? This is r, this is r. So this is this is r, this is r, r and r here as well, r and r here as well. And now what are we left with? This point is surely the center of what? Of this equilateral triangle. I have an equilateral triangle where all 3 sides are 2r each. And what is this point? In an equilateral triangle, this center is the center of everything, is the in-center, circumcenter, is everything. Right? So the distance of this center from the vertex is known as the circumradius, is a capital R of this equilateral triangle. The formula for the circumradius of an equilateral triangle is side a upon 2 root 3. A upon root 3, I'm sorry. A upon root 3. So a upon root 3, a here is 2r. 2r upon root 3. Right, so this distance from here up to here is 2r by root 3. And this here, this, if I extend it, is another r. Right? This is essentially the radius of this circle, right? This one. Great. So my outer circle, let me call that r. Oh, this much plus r. 2r by root 3. 2r by root 3 plus r. What about the inner circle radius? The inner circle radius is also easy to calculate because I know this is capital R. I mean, capital R is in the circum radius of this triangle. The radius of this triangle, this circle. So from this, if I can subtract till here, small r, I'll get this smaller radius. Right? Let me make it very, very clear. From here to here, this center, this is capital R, the circumradius, 2r by root 3. Just subtract this distance till here, which is r, and I'll get the radius of this. I'll get this one, this shaded portion. So the radius inner, let me call it the radius inner, is 2r by root 3 minus r. So the radius of the larger circle, x is to y, means this radius is to this radius. So this can be calculated. R, just take r common. You're left with 2 by root 3 plus 1 upon r into 2 by root 3 minus 1. And you get this answer. Rationalize this. This is 2 plus root 3 upon 2 minus root 3. So multiply with 2 plus root 3, and this will become 2 square 4. 4 minus 3 is 1. So the denominator becomes 1. And you will have 2 plus root 3 whole square. 2 plus root 3 whole square is 2 square 4 plus root 3 whole square, which is 3, plus 2 times 2 root 3, which is 4 root 3. So 7 plus 4 root 3 upon 1 is your answer, option 4. I hope this is clear. Question 14 says x and y satisfy the equation given. Okay, good to know. And mod x plus y is 15. Mod x plus mod y minus y is 20. What is the value of x minus y? Fair. If you've done CAT 2023 questions, then you would know what to do in this question. Start with assumptions. Good assumptions would include either assuming the sign of y or assuming the sign of x to start with. Let me assume that x is negative. Why am I doing this? Because if x is negative, this will cancel out and become 0, and I'll immediately get the value of y is 15. Because when x is negative, mod of x becomes minus x, and then plus x plus y is equal to 15. And I can check, is this even possible? Because if y is 15, then this equation should work out. Right? If y is 15, I'll get here x plus mod of 15 is 15 minus y, which is 15, is 20, which gives me x as 20. Now, is that possible? No. I started by assuming x is a negative value. I've obtained x as 20, which is a positive value, and thus x cannot be negative. No chance. So x is definitely positive. For sure, x is positive. So that gives me one equation, and that equation is 2x plus y is 15. What next? What if y is positive? Let's assume that y is positive. And then we'll see if this works out. If y is positive, then this cancels out because mod y is then y cancels out. At y positive, x comes out to be 20. Does it work? Does it work? Let's check. If x is 20, we'll pull it here. 20 more 20 is 20, 20 plus 20, 40. Y will come out to be 15 minus 40. When x equal to 20 is put in here, y comes out to be minus 25. Now that's not possible. We started our equations by assuming y is positive. We ended up getting y is minus 25. Not possible. And thus y cannot be positive. Y must be negative. And therefore, if y is negative, mod y is minus y, and another minus y, our second equation becomes x minus 2y is equal to 20. You have two equations and two variables. You can solve this easily. Yeah. Just multiply this with I don't know. Yeah, just multiply this with 2. Subtract. You can do that. 4x plus 2y is 30. X minus 2y. You will add. You will get a 5x. A 5x is equal to 50. No, yeah, 5x is equal to 50. X comes out to be 10. And if x is 10, then y comes out to be minus 5. Just solve and you'll get these values. And therefore x minus y is 10 minus of minus 5, 10 plus 5, 15. I hope this is clear. These two assumptions are key. They'll help you solve the question fast. Otherwise, you'll end up spending tons of time. The next question says PQRS are 4 towns. One can travel between P and Q along 3 direct paths. Okay. Yeah, it shouldn't be. It doesn't say single arrow. Could be double. We'll see. Between Q and S along 4 direct paths. Between P and R as well. So there is there's a direct path between P and R. I think we shouldn't make this double or single arrow. We don't know yet. We'll see. P to Q direct 3, P to R 4, and Q to S also 4. There is no direct path between P and S. There are a few direct paths between Q and R, and between R and S. We don't know how many. Yeah, we don't know how many. Let's just say this is X, this is Y. One can travel from P to S via Q or via R, or via Q followed by R. Fair. Or via Q followed by R. Doesn't say via R followed by Q. Doesn't say that. Yeah, just P to S can be done from PQS. So P to Q in 3 ways, Q to S 4. So that will be 3 into 4, 12 ways of going from P to S via Q. And then PRS would be P into 4 into Y. That's P to S via R. And PQRS would be 3 into X into Y. This is equal to 62 possible ways, which basically gives us an equation 4y plus 3xy is equal to 50. We can do a little more with this, factorize possibly, but yeah, let's just park it right now. And let's see what else the question has to say. One can also travel from Q to R either directly or via P or via S in exactly 27 possible ways. Q to R would be either X ways, or via P, that would be 3 into 4, 12 more ways. Q to R via P, and Q to R via S, right? This route. So that would be 4 into Y. This is 27, which basically means we have another equation, X plus 4Y is equal to 15. We're talking about number of paths, right? So neither is X more than 15, nor is 4Y greater than 15. So Y is a very small number. Y is a very, very small number. 4y has to be less than 15. And y also has to be a factor of 50, right? Because if I simplify this, if I simplify and write this in terms of y, this becomes y into 4 plus 3x. That's 50. Both have to be natural numbers here. Y and 4 plus 3x have to be natural numbers, both factors of 50. So what kind of factors are we looking at? So that 4y is less than 15. Y can be 1. 1 is a factor of 50, yeah. Y can be 2. Y cannot be 3 because 3 into a natural number is not 50. 4 into a natural number is not 50. 5 is not possible, right? 4 into 5 is 20. So x will come out to be negative. Doesn't work. So y is either 1 or 2. Very simple. We just plug in here. No? Can y be 1? If y is 1, then 4 plus 3x has to be 50. That's not possible. At y equal to 1, 4 plus 3x equal to 50 oops, means 3x is 40. That doesn't give us x as a whole number. It's not possible. So y is not 1. So y is surely 2. And if y is 2, 4 into 2, 8, then x is 7. So we have the value of y as 2, x is 7. The question says number of direct paths between q and r. Number of direct paths between q and r is x is 7. That's your answer. I hope this is clear. Oops. Let's keep moving. Now this question says 1 by 5 into 1 by 5 minus 1 by 7 plus 1 by 5 square is clearly a series question is equal to which of the following? Now what we can do in such questions is approximate. Look at the values, right? Look at the values of the terms initially. 1 by 5 is 0.2 and then try to match it to the options. 1 by 5 is 0.2, 1 by 5 is 0.2, 1 by 7. If you remember, 1 by 7 is 14.28%. It basically means the value of 1 by 7 is minus 1428. I'm just going to take this as 0.143. That's good enough. And then the next term is going to be 1 by 5 whole square, 0.2 whole square, 0.04 into 0.2 whole square, of course, is well, we can do this, or we can say 1 by 5 square minus 1 by 7 square is a square minus b square, which is a minus b into a plus b. It makes sense because this we've already calculated here, whatever this is 0.057. So this is 0.2 into 0.57. And here this is going to be, therefore, this is 0.057. Just calculate that. And this is 0.2 plus 0.14, so it's 0.343. And then we don't have too much space. Let's look at these values. How are there these values changing? And of course, again, we have the calculator with us, as you would have had in the exam. So 0.2 into 0.057 is equal to 0.0114. That's what this is. Already at the second decimal place. Can't help it. What about this? This is 0.04 plus, oh, sorry, not plus, into 0.057 into 0.343. This is already at the fourth decimal place. This is 0.00078,204. See, please understand how your values are changing. Your first term is already beginning from the second decimal place. Your second term is beginning from the fourth decimal place, likely. And I want to show you this, so that you don't worry about it. 1 by 5 cube is 1 by 25 is 0.008. 1 by 7 cube, I think we'll have to do that. 1 by 7 divided by 7 divided by 7 is 0.00291. 0.00, I'm just going to take it as 0.29 something, so it's 0.003. So this is 0.005. 0.005 divided by 5 cube divided by 125. So this has gone to the fifth decimal place, 0.00004. And that's an approximate value. Yeah. So, second decimal place, fourth decimal place, fifth decimal place, you're not really adding value as such. You're just pushing your values to the next decimal place. The next one will end up with the sixth decimal place, seventh, eighth, something like that. So I think you can safely say that your first three values are sufficient. They're sufficient to give you your almost the entire of your answer. So I'm going to add these three terms, 0.00078,204, and the first term 0.0114, and we end up with a value of 0.12222. So yeah, in that ballpark, 0.1222 something. So 0.122, our answer should be here. Maybe there'll be a change here. Oh, this is 0.0. I'm sorry, 0.0. So maybe our answer will be 0.0123ish or 4ish, right? Something of that sort, or maybe even a 5ish. See, these digits are not going to change. If you keep shifting from sixth place to seven decimal place, they're not going to change. So these three values are almost the entirety of your answer. So let's check which of the options work for us. The highest option here is 7/408, right? Lowest denominator, highest value. So 7/408 comes out to be option 1 comes out to be 0.0171. What's up with the internet? 0.0171. 0.017. Can we go to 7 here? No. Had this been 0.013, I would still have had a doubt, or a 4 even. But 0.0171 is very unlikely. It's not going to happen, right? The next option, the next highest is 5/408. Now 5/408, option 3 comes out to be 0.01225 something. Now that's still possible. In fact, 0.0122 we had, so 0.01225 is okay. When this could likely be the answer, this should likely be the answer, because 5/816 is half of this, right? So option 2 is going to be half of this, which is going to be 0.012 half is going to be 0.06. This is less than the value we've already obtained by the first using the first three terms. This is also going to be less than the value obtained. 7/816 is half of 7/408, so it's going to be 0.008 something. So that's not possible. So 3 is the right answer, because the first 3 to 4 terms add up approximately to the same value, and then the last few decimals can be ignored because their net value is very small. So I think this is a smart way to solve such questions, and Cat has over the past as well given you values where you could find the first 2 terms, sometimes the first 3 terms, and you could happily mark the option. I hope this is clear. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 17. Question 17 says, Bina incurs 19% loss, sells the product at 4,860 to Sham. So 81% of Bina's cost. 19% loss means 18% is the remaining value. 60. This is 81 into 6, right? So you can immediately calculate cost price of Bina. This 6,000. It will come out to be 6,000. I divide this by 81, you'll get 60, and then into 100. Cost price of Bina is 6,000. Sham has bought this for 4,860. Great. This is the I'm sorry. Yeah, this was the cost to Sham, right? This is the selling price for Bina, 4,860, which becomes the cost price for Sham. Now, Sham sells this to Hari. Great. Had Bina sold this product to Sham at the purchase price of Hari, then she would have obtained 17% profit. The question is trying to say that the cost price to Hari is such that it is 17% more than 6,000, because that indicates a 17% profit to Bina. So 6,000 into 1.17, or just add 17%. My brain is not working. I'll just use the calculator. So that comes out to be 6,000 into 1.17. That's 7,020. What is the profit made by Sham? Very simple question. The cost price of Sham is this. Sham is Hari at this selling price. This is the selling price for Sham. This difference you can easily calculate. 7,020 minus 4,860 gives you 2,160. I hope the question is clear, right? Bina buys something for 6,000, sells it to Sham, who buys it for 4860, and then passes it on to Hari, where Hari's buying price is 17% or more than Bina's cost price. So that is 7020. And therefore, this difference is shown here, 2160. That's it. Great. Let's move on to the next question. Great. Let's continue solving the question. Let's look at the next question. The next question says a fruit seller has a stock of mangoes, bananas, apples with at least one fruit of each type. Okay. And at the beginning, the number of mangoes make up 40% of the stock. So, 40% 2/5. The stock has to be a multiple of 5. Fair. And that day, he sells half of the mangoes and so on. I think 50 plus 50 we can take, no? Would we be left with something? Half. We want half. We want half of the total fruits. If you're left with half of the total fruits, I want the number of fruits to be a multiple of 2, right? Because half. Okay? And then 40% of the stock is mangoes. 40% of something is 2/5, right? So you want the stock of fruits to also be a multiple of 5. 2/5 of something would only make sense if it's a multiple of 5. Half would only make sense if it's a multiple of 2. Pretty clear, your total stock of fruits ought to be at least a multiple of 10. I hope that works. If it doesn't work, we will be agile and change things, right? So mangoes, bananas, apples. So let this be a total of 10x. Initial number of fruits. Now mangoes make up 40%. So mangoes initially have 4x. And since the person is selling on the first day, 40% of the apples, 40%, right? 2/5. So you better have apples as a multiple of 5 straight away. Let's say it's 5y, 5 is whatever variable you want to take. So you're selling 40% 2y apples. You're left with, at the end of the day, 3y apples. See, if you're taking total 10x, it is prudent, right? It's prudent to, rather than introducing a separate variable, just say bananas is 10x minus 4x minus 5y. That's 6x minus 5y. 96 bananas are sold. And what was it? Half of the mangoes, half of 4x, 2x mangoes are sold. So this person is left with 2x mangoes. The person is left with 6x minus 5y minus 96 bananas. And the person is left with 3y apples. Sorry. And this total, right? 2x plus 3x minus 5y plus 3y has to be 5x because 50% fruits are sold. So I think even this is good. This equation is also good. We can use the next one as well. And this sum will therefore be 5x. I don't see any reason why these two should not work together in the sense that 2x plus 96 plus 2y is 5x. Yeah, that should work. That should work for sure. Yeah. I mean, we can use either this or the next one. I'd be very surprised if it comes out to be any different. It shouldn't. It should be exactly the same. So let's just focus on this equation or the next one, which is if you've sold 2x plus 96 plus 2y fruits and you've sold 5x in total net. What is this? This is 3x is equal to. That's what it is, no? And what are you trying to do? The smallest possible total number of fruits in the stock. You're trying to minimize total. You're trying to minimize 10x. You're basically trying to minimize x. If I want to minimize x, I better minimize y. That's all. I'll also have to make sure that none of my values come out to be 0. Yahan kahin 0 nahi hona chahiye, right? I mean, this ought to be positive. In fact, forget about this. This ought to be positive because you'll be left with at least some banana. You'll be left with something. 6y minus 5y minus 96 ought to be greater than or equal to 0. In fact, probably greater than 0. So that's what you have here. If I'm trying to minimize 2y, if I just divide by 3, can I just write the equation as x is equal to 96 by 3, 32 plus 2y? by 3. See, y is not really negative anywhere. If you really look at it, I mean 5y, 2y, 3y, right? We just have to make sure this equation works. It's a whole number because you want 2x, 4x, 10x, all these numbers to be whole numbers. So yeah, x will only be a whole number if y comes out to be a multiple of 3. So surely, I mean, basis this, nothing else given, the minimum value of y is 3. And we'll check, must make sure that nothing is negative. Minimum value of y is 3. You put y equal to 3 here, x comes out to be 34. Let's check this, right? Can x equal to 34 and y equal to 3 work out? The main thing to check is this. Is this positive? Surely this is positive. 6 into 34 is more than 200. 200 minus 15 minus 96 is very, very small, no? 1596 make up 111. And 6 into 34, it is exactly 204. This number, the number of bananas left at the end of the day, is significantly greater than 0. It's a positive number. And thus, everything else is going to be a positive number. And therefore, the minimum number of fruits you can have in the stock will be 10x, 34 into 10, 340. That's your answer. I hope this is clear. I don't know what has happened to... I don't know if this is the internet or... Yeah, I hope this is clear. It's a good question, right? If you organize your data properly, you understand either this equation or this one, I'm sure you'll get the same result. And then you have to understand what to do. To minimize x, you minimize y. Y has to be a multiple of 3. You must check here because it is possible in some other question doesn't work. That's it. Let's move on to the next question, question 19. Question 19 says 6x plus 6 root 2 to the power 1 by 2. And then something, x minus 6 root 2 to the power 1 by 2 is 2 root 2. The thing I understand with this question is, I have an under root. And then obviously, I mean, what you can do is square, right? Squaring would be a simple solution. Just square the whole equation and, something good will happen, I'm sure, because it ought to work out. That's obviously one thing you can do, but then I think you'll have to square twice. You'll probably have to square twice to get a, equation. May not turn out to be a nice equation. So I'm going to skip that because there is one more thing that I see, which is I have an under root. Within the under root, I have x plus 6 root 2. And then I have another under root. Oops, it's not plus, it's minus. And within another under root, I have another under root minus under root of x minus 6 root 2. And my net result is 2 root 2. How am I going to get just a root 2 here, right? Under root ke andar under root, I have two under roots. The only way this is going to happen, is if this is a perfect square. If this is a perfect square, you'll have a root 2. If this is a perfect square, you'll probably have a root 2. And then, this works out. Because then the under root here cancels out with the square of this, and you end up with a single under root. The second thing is, how can x plus 6 root 2 and x minus 6 root 2 both be perfect squares? If that is the argument, then the only way possible is if if this is a square plus b square plus 2ab, a square plus b square minus 2ab. So basically, x should be square of something, a square plus b square in that form, and 6 root 2 2ab. And if that is the case, then it's not very difficult. You don't have too many cases. Then ab will be 3 root 2, right? AB will be 3 root 2. How many cases can you make from here? 3 and root 2 or 1 and 3 root 2? Just check for 3 and root 2, right? Can this be the square of 3 plus root 2? Just check. Because when I do a 3 plus root 2 whole square, I will get 2ab as 6 root 2. And this then, just check. Let's just check first. 3 plus root 2 whole square is 9 plus root 2 whole square is 2. Sorry, not 4. It's 2 plus 6 root 2. Super. And yeah. So and if this is 3 plus this is 3 minus root 2 whole square, right? So this is 3 minus root 2 whole square, because then this will give me 3 square 9 plus root 2 whole square 2 minus 2ab minus 6 root 2. And then you have an under root, you have an under root, you have a minus square under root, bye, square under root, cancel out. What are you left with? You're left with 3 plus root 2 minus 3 minus root 2. This was the whole quantity inside, right? Square, uski zarurat nahi, we don't need it because square and under root will cancel it. 3 plus root 2, 3 minus 3 minus root 2. 3 minus 3 cancel out. Root 2 minus of minus plus root 2. So root 2 plus root 2, 2 root 2. Now that is exactly what your RHS is. That's what it is. 2 root 2. If that is the case, it means you have hit the nail on the head. X must be this a square plus b square. Let's say a is 3 and b is root 2. So 3 square is 9. Root 2 square 2. This is 11. X will come out to be 11. That's your answer. I hope this is clear. Let's look at the next question. I think this is a straightforward question for those who have done these questions. You may have done format theorem or something. If you've not done, it's not needed. Honestly, if you have done all that, it's I wouldn't even call it bonus. I think it's extra and unnecessary. You don't need anything of the sort. And such questions, what you should tend to do is look for a power of 3, which when divided by 11 leave a remainder of plus or minus 1. You want a plus or minus 1, right? So if I look at powers of 3, 3 to the power 1 is 3, doesn't leave plus or minus 1 when divided by 11. 3 square is 9. 9 is not that number. 3 cube 27. Not that number. 27 divided by 11 is 5. 81 divided by 11 leaves 4 as remainder, but 243 divided by 11. Right? Because 220, is a multiple of 11. So is 231. So is 242. So 243 will leave a remainder of plus 1. And 243 is 3 to the power 5. You can just change 3 to the power 333 in terms of 3 to the power 5. So, just write 3 to the power 330 into 3 cube, which is basically 3 to the power 5 to the power 66 into 3 cube, which is 27. Now divide this by 11. Because this is 243 into 243. It doesn't matter how many times it is. Because 243 into 243, many times. Every time you divide that by 11, every time you divide this by 11, you'll get 1. 1 into 1 into 166 times. But 1 can be multiplied 1,000 times, it still remains 1. And then 27 divided by 11 is 5. So the remainder you get is actually from 27. And the final answer is 5. That's option 3. I hope this is clear. Clear. It's a straightforward question. Sorry. Let's go back to let's go to the next question, which says alpha and beta are roots of the equation. Something 3x square plus alpha lambda x minus 1. Because this is lambda, I'll ignore lambda. I'll just focus on the product of roots. Alpha beta is product of roots. I c by minus 1 by 3. Super. And what do I have? 1 by lambda square plus 1 by beta square. So let me simplify it as lambda square plus beta square upon lambda square beta square, which I can also write as lambda beta whole square. That's 15 for me. So just multiply, right? 15 into lambda beta whole square. Lambda beta product is minus 1 by 3. 1 by 3 whole square is 1 by 9. So lambda square plus beta square is 15 by 9. That's 5 by 3. I'm just going to get rid of the confusing dirt here, essentially. And we're left with 15 by 9, 5 by 3. So we have the value of lambda square plus beta square, lambda beta both. And what do we need? Lambda cube plus beta cube whole square. So if you know this factorization, a cube plus b cube, you know, right? A cube plus b cube is a plus b into a square plus b square minus ab. And square of that, super. Square of that I can write as lambda plus beta whole square and lambda square minus lambda beta whole square. So yeah, let's get rid of this square as well. Or we could have multiplied. And then squared. Good. How do we get lambda plus beta whole square? What is lambda plus beta whole square? Lambda square plus beta square plus 2 lambda beta. That's the reason why I brought the square in. Because this we know now, right? Lambda square plus beta square we know. 5 by 3. 2 lambda beta we know. This will be minus 2 by 3. So this is 5 minus 2, 3 by 3 is 1. Super. Nothing. will not affect the answer. 1 into anything is the answer itself. And this is also known to us. Alpha square plus beta square is 5 by 3 minus lambda beta minus of minus 1 by 3 gives us 5 plus 1, 6 by 3. This is 2. Okay, where were we? Okay, this is 2, right? This is 2. This is 2. Sorry, forgot the square, right? Square, 2 square. 2 square is 4. So you get a 1 from here and you get a 4 from here. 1 into 4, 4 is your answer. I hope this is clear. Which brings us to question 22, the last of this set, which says Anil invests 22,000 for 6 years, okay, in a scheme with 4% interest, compounded half yearly. Compounded half yearly, 2%, 4% interest means 2% every 6 months. And if it's 6 years, it basically means 12. Time period is 12, right? Because there are 12 periods of 6 months each. That's how you do it. And then Sunil separately invests a certain amount in the same scheme for 5 years, and then the entire amount for 1 year at 10%, a simple interest, they receive the same amount at the end of 6 years. Fair enough. What is the amount Anil will receive? Simple enough. 22,000 principal into 1 plus r by 2. In half yearly compounding, we do r by 2, 4 by 2, 2%, by 100 to the power 12, 6 into 2, 2 parts per year, sort of. So yeah, that's what it is. This is the amount Anil will receive. What will Sunil receive? Sunil invests, let's say X, same investment, 2% every 6 months. 5 years means 10 periods of half year, 10 periods of 6 months each. This is the amount received at the end of 5 years. And then this money grows at 10% for 1 year. That's the simple interest. Increase of 10% means a multiplying factor of 11 by 10. So yeah, that's it, right? This may look difficult, but it's actually not. 1 plus 2 by 100 to the power 10 cancels out. 1 plus 2 to the power 12. You divide both sides by 1 plus 2 by 100 to the power 10, you get square here. And if you simplify, 2 by 100 is 1 by 50. 1 by 50. 1 plus 1 by 50 is 51 by 50. So you have 51 by 50 whole square into 20 is equal to x into 11 by 10. We shouldn't even 22 by 11 is basically 2k, right? And 2k into 10 would become 20k. So I think 22k you can avoid. Just you don't need 22k, you need 20k, and 20k will be divisible by 50 square, no? So yeah, 20,000, 20,000, 20 is this. That is the value of x. This is easy to calculate, not that difficult. Yeah, so just calculate, go from here on. What I did here was, when you're making this equation, you will get a sense that because you have 51 by 50 raised to some power, 51 by 50 whole square, your final answer actually ought to be a multiple of 51. So the way I did it there was, having understood what is going to happen, I didn't bother solving writing, should be divisible by 51. So which of the options is divisible by 51? Option 2 only. You can check. I checked it. It's just one of the options. And of course, this calculation is not difficult. Calculation. So 20,000 into 51 square is 51 into 51. I'd use a calculator. If you're very good at calculations, go ahead. If you're a bit lazy like me, leave it. Calculator here. 25, 200 by 25 is 8. 8 into 51 to 51. Look at the unit digit, right? 8 into 1 into 1. Your answer has to be a number that ends in 8. So that's the only possibility here. I hope you've enjoyed these solutions. Yeah. Thank you very much. You can look out for the other, right, VARC and DILR solutions of slot 2. Thank you.